Hey everyone, my name's Gloria and this is my first book video, so we will see how this goes. Basically, I got really into reading this year, really into BookTube, into books, reading a bunch, and I thought, this would be a really great outlet for me to talk about the books that I've been reading and why I like them, and if it's not for anyone, it's at least for me. I'm going to be looking at my phone, looking at Goodreads and the books that I read this year. My plan is to do 4 quarterly wrap-up videos. This one will be January through March, which wasn't a lot of books. Once the pandemic hit, I really kicked it into gear. And then I'm going to do April through June, and then July through September, and then another one for the end of the year, once the year's up. Also, my cat is playing with a toy, so she might make some noise throughout the video. But yeah, let's get started and talk about some books. So the first book I read in 2020, I actually started in December, but I finished it in January, was Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, Mastering the Elements of Good Cooking by Salman Nosrat. This was an audiobook that I listened to on my friend's Audible account. And I really enjoyed it. This is a cookbook, kind of, not necessarily recipes, but the author does a really great job of just explaining what's behind cooking and how to, she empowers like the home cook to really just understand what makes a dish and why things taste good together, particularly about the 4 main elements. The biggest takeaway I got from this book was salt makes everything better, and I'm a salt fanatic. I put salt on everything, so basically always add more salt. Can never go wrong with that. So if you're really into cooking or wanting to learn more about how to cook better at home or anything like that, I highly recommend this book. I give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed listening to it. The next book that I finished in January was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, book 2 in the Harry Potter series. I have read the books and listened to them several times in the past several years. My husband has actually never read or listened to the books at all. So we decided to go through the Harry Potter series together. So we're listening to the audiobooks while we drive, while we cook, while we clean, that kind of stuff. So we finished the first book in 2019 and we finished the second one in January. So and we're making our way through, and spoiler alert, we're almost done. And we'll finish hopefully in December. The next book that I read, actually started in January, finished it in February, was Educated by Tara Westover. My cat turned on the Roomba. You're a little troublemaker. Where was I? Educated by Tara Westover. This is a memoir, very popular. I'm sure you've heard of it because it's all over everywhere. But this is a memoir about a woman who grows up in a very religious, secluded Mormon community, and her father basically hates education and and thinks it's like the devil's work to put your kids through school and whatnot, like the school teaches you bad things. And so this is really her like coming of age story and her journey of getting out of that really like religious and destructive home environment, and her finding her experience going through college. And I loved it. This was a 5 out of 5 for me. Really, really enjoyed the story. Yeah. It was great. I don't really know much more to say to that except read it. I found her writing really great. I didn't want to stop, wanted to read it all in one go. It was a really great story. Fun fact, actually, my husband and I, pre-pandemic, went to Orlando, Florida because he had a work conference there, and I just joined him for the trip. We did some Disney and some Universal stuff on the weekend, but during the week while he was at his conference, I just went to Barnes & Noble, and I was just reading this book. So that was what I did when I was in Orlando. So I don't know if you ever have memories tied to what you were doing when you were reading, or similar to like when you listen to a song and it takes you back to the moment when you first heard the song. I have these memories attached to books, particularly if I listen to the book. I have a memory attached to what I was doing when I was listening to the book, or where I was when I was reading it. So I just will always remember Orlando, Florida when I think of this book, which is super random, but anyways. The next book that I read in February was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, book 3. Again, I already said making our way through the series, so made our way through this one. I didn't say before, Harry Potter's a 5 out of 5. Oh, it's just incredible, so don't need to really say much there. The next book I read in February was The Nanny by Gilly Macmillan, one of them. This is a UK thriller. This was a while ago, so spoiler alert, I'm filming this in November, so I have to rethink what I was reading in February, but back when the world was still normal. But anyways, The Nanny it's a thriller about has multiple perspectives, multiple timelines. It's about a girl whose nanny, favorite nanny was like super amazing to her, disappeared, or everyone thought that she died, and all of a sudden, like 20 years later, she comes back and there's like something off about it and something weird's going on, and you're trying to figure out like, is this nanny like the actual nanny, or is this the person faking her life and coming back to like get money from this rich family? And you don't really trust certain characters, you don't trust the parents who hired the nanny and like what happened there. And anyways, I gave this book a 3 out of 5. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think one of the things that kind of dropped the rating down for me is that I guessed the ending and I wasn't necessarily surprised by it. Even though you're sort of like piecing the story together as you're going through it of what happened, I pieced it together, and then I kind of was underwhelmed by the ending, and I wasn't really like, oh, shocker. So that's what brought it down to me for a 3 out of 5. I probably actually would maybe rate this a 2 out of 5 now looking in hindsight, especially with other thrillers that I've read. I thought it was just okay. And that's actually all the books for January through March. Didn't read a lot. What is that? 5 books total. I really kicked it into gear. So these next wrap-up videos that I will be posting I'm going to be talking about a lot more books. So stay tuned for those, and thanks for watching.